Morning and welcome to Gruen. We'll get to the panel in a moment, but first, as this show has gotten older, we've noticed people in ads getting older too. Fast. Master Foods ages you at the dinner table.
Hey, Dad, pass the sauce.
Sauce.
Hey, Dad, could you pass me the sauce? Dad, can you pass the sauce?
Hey, buddy, can you pass Grandpa the sauce, please? Did your mum teach you that trick?
Oh, I'd avoid the sauce and have a tomato, mate, because your grandpa is dying of malnutrition. It's not all bad stage makeup. KFC has a rapidly ageing brunette. OK, that checks out. In my experience, if you eat a bucket of KFC, your life flashes before your eyes. Honda drivers age behind the wheel.
Even as a little kid, you never settled for ordinary. Neither have we.
Ah, still alone because his only hobby is doing donuts in a parking lot. There's a reason if you spell Honda backwards, it's ad, no. And Victor Mowers takes a lifetime to cut your grass.
To the greatest mum and dad, here's to the summers we had, to the smell of freshly cut grass, and to having a blast. Here's to those summer days, the classic plays, leaving home, then coming back grown. Here's to keeping you up to date and being my best mate.
Here's why your dad's your best mate, because you're the sort of dickhead who uses a leaf blower. Yes, advertising is ageing us all, and Aldi is no exception.
Dad, I want to look at these.
Tomato and basil, crushed tomato and basil, diced tomato and basil, crushed tomato and fresh basil, whole tomato and basil, Italian tomato and basil, tomato and basil.
Chewy tomato. Dad! Whoa! Where have you been?
Don't waste your life in the sauce aisle. Unlike other supermarkets, Aldi only stocks the best, so you save time and money. That's good different.
The good news is, being Aldi, somewhere in the middle of the store, they're probably selling coffins. Time to welcome our panel from PwC, Russell Howcroft, and from over there, Todd Sampson. Joining them from Campaign Edge, Dee Madigan, and from BMF, Christina Aventi. Advertising has always sold us dreams. On January 26th this year, the NBN offered us this one.
We're leaving our generation to join one that's moving us forward.
Where our garage business can go global.
Where knowledge isn't limited by time or space.
And anyone can change the world from anywhere.
So we can keep our big city job without the big city.
A new generation where it's easy to pass on our skills.
Where our crazy ideas become crazy reality.
We're doing things differently, seeing things differently, and we're just getting started. It's time for a new generation. It's time for Gen NBN.
We're just getting started. Then talk to us when you're finished, NBN. Holographic referees, self-driving tractors and giant see-through screens. Christina, what did you make of that ad?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's kind of like there's every cliche from the future in there. It's drones, clones and driverless automobiles. It's crazy. And the thing about it is that it's really urgent. It's like, come on, get on board, but it stresses me out. I'm like, stop the world, I want to get off when I watch that. It's like too much for me. Not that I want to be backward. And it's got that ultimate cliche of the rocket at the end that's heavily branded NBN, which is like, well, it's just too cliched for me, fast-paced. And let's be honest, it's false and misleading advertising because NBN is more Kia Picanto than it is Tesla. So...
I mean, it's very true. They'd fly the rocket up into space, but they wouldn't fly it all the way to the planet, just to the node.
Yeah.
For a moment. Why label it Gen NBN? Todd, doesn't that suggest it's not for everyone?
Yeah, well, no. So calling it Gen NBN is not meant to be a reference to Gen Y. I mean, they don't watch TV anyway. It's meant to be a reference to generational change in Australia. That's why they launched it on Australia Day. But it sounds good strategically, but it's really confusing because people think it's about a Gen group of people, and it's not. It's not demographic. It's meant to be across Australia. Yeah. But also, I mean, that ad is classic government paint by research, and it's boring and a waste of money.
No. It's not boring, right? I'm not saying it's not brilliant. I'm not here to say it's brilliant, and it also isn't typical government advertising because at least they're spending some money producing something which is trying to have a bigger idea about it, and it's a bigger idea which is really, really important.
Here's an idea. Make the NBN work.
I think we might be overthinking it a little bit, though. I mean, Gen NBN rhymes.
Gen NBN rhymes, but also who knows when NBN rhymes.
Yeah.
There's a couple of images in that look like they're cool things, but when you examine them at all, like the holographic referee, is anyone going, oh, I wish there was a holographic referee?
Yeah.
And the other one is that brain surgeon who's working from the country with their kids. I'm sorry, but I want my brain surgeon in the room with me.
Yeah. It's funny. It's almost like that they've got to the... It's almost like they've got to the benefits before they've actually sold the actual attributes of the NBN.
What they're trying to do is saying, you trust us. In the future, you're going to need really good internet. And all of Australia is saying, no, right now we do. When you've got the Country Women's Association, campaigning for better internet. It's not because they want to build robots. It's because they want internet that's at least as fast as Kenya, which it currently isn't.
Yes. Yeah, I mean...
The glossy Gen NBN ad has been replaced on TV with this.
NBN is building Australia's new broadband access network, but it's your phone and internet provider that will get you set up at home. All you have to do is order a new NBN-powered plan from a phone and internet provider, and they'll manage the installation with NBN directly. If you've got any questions once you're connected, just contact your provider and they'll help you out. Contact a phone or internet provider today.
Quite the line. Contact a phone or internet provider. Essentially, can't someone else do it? Christina, is don't contact us a strong message for the brand?
Yeah, it's the wrong kind of strong, baby. Brands always want to have, they want to be your friends. And all of a sudden we're saying push you away. So that's really interesting. Why are they doing this? It is a hot potato, this one. They're trying to deflect responsibility. And there are some things they can't answer. Their call centre is being abused. We know for a fact that, NBN users are 5 times more likely to complain as of July 2017. So it is pretty well much something that they want to disassociate themselves with. And the truth is there's so many suppliers in the chain, you don't know where that fault line lies. I think it's ironic because when they sell you that future, that big, grandiose, crazy world stuff, and then they're saying, no, but you know what, if you've got any problems, don't contact us. Like, it's a bit disingenuous. It's BS.
Well, they're the wholesaler, so, you can't contact them anyway.
You can understand how, as consumers, we might be confused by the fact that you can't get NBN from the NBN, right?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, the thing is, it's a bit like car dealerships. So NBN advertises, but they have zero control over the internet service providers, and they will do what they want to do.
Its best intent is to democratise access to the internet.
In the end, it will all make sense.
No, it'll still be confusing. It'll be like phone plans. You still can't.
No, it won't be confusing.
Love the NBN logo. It's just like their internet coverage. Spotty. also love those blue balls. I assume it's because we've all got blue balls waiting for the NBN.
We make fun of these balls, but the balls could have got them across the line.
Yeah.
So what they do when you're pitching for government work is they would get all these ideas. One of them would have been Gen NBN. They will take off anything to do with the advertising agency and they will put it into research. And the groups, and what they'll primarily test is message takeout. So they'll show you it in a mix and then they'll say, after it's all done, they'll say, well, what do you remember? What did you remember seeing? And some people will go, I remember a guy wearing a blue T-shirt, there was a rocket, there was some music, and some balls. And they would have been ding, ding, we got a winner.
And, of course, most of us are watching television with more than one screen.
Right, and if you are watching this show while looking at another screen, stop it. Right here. Yeah. Right here. It's OK, I'll cut that out. Here's another of the recent ads.
Do you need to move to the NBN network? For most people, the answer is yes, if you want to keep your landline phone and internet services. Because to make way for the new network, parts of the existing network are being switched off.
The blue balls are back and now he's grabbing them.
Yeah, which is
a little bit of bait advertising, which is not uncommon to sell something that's not yet available. It actually makes it more attractive, particularly if some people have it and you don't. Envy drives purchase, and in advertising we call it aspiration, but it's basically envy.
Yeah, but is there a certain limit on aspiration? Because, like, I checked when the NBN is going to be available in my area, and it's midway through 2019. So do I have to keep looking at all these ads, you know, telling me that some people are getting it cut off before that I'm even going to get it off it?
Move to a marginal seat and you'll get it connected.
The big brand ad showed a business in Newtown in Sydney. No NBN there. The other ad showed Surrey Hills Library, a few suburbs away. No NBN there either. They also have had to hide some of the wiring for the NBN under bushels, though.
Yeah. So. You would definitely use local press, though, but you'd probably be more likely to use it in a public relations sense.
Only to get a good editorial. You put an ad in a local paper only if they'll give you a good editorial.
Australia is ranked 53rd in the world for internet speeds, behind Trinidad and Tobago, Mongolia and Reunion, an island in the Indian Ocean I learned about by reading this sentence. It's not hard to find bad press about the NBN, but the ABC must be balanced. So we got the research team to trawl for positive NBN stories. The most positive bit of press we could find was this article in the Gympie Times. Gympie happy and angry over NBN. Well, I guess that's balance. Oh, well, there's probably some really nice comments over on the NBN's Facebook page. What a joke. I had better internet when I was in Afghanistan. We'll be resorting to string and two tin cans for communication. Can I arrange for the technician who installed the NBN to come and take it away? And those are just from people who could still load Facebook. Russell, when your customers aren't happy, what do you do?
I'm increasingly thinking that you have to ignore social media. You know, seriously, because you'll react to here's another negative message, here's another negative message. If continuously reacting, where really you've just got to, in particular in this case, you've just got to stay true to the course. Now, there is going to be media scrutiny. Why? Because there's billions of taxpayer dollars being spent. So the media is doing the appropriate thing by getting all over the NBN. So the NBN has to do the appropriate thing and spend a shitload on advertising.
The NBN doesn't even have NBN at its own headquarters, but nothing will stop them from pushing out a whole lot of branded content. It ran a virtual yoga class, presumably to calm down all the angry NBN customers. It created a band over Skype and got NRL legend Brad Fittler to Skype a primary school. So they've mastered Skype. Welcome to 2003.
See, it is one of the great marketing heists right now. Yeah, the idea that the marketers are in the content business and because it can be uploaded, it doesn't cost me any money. It will cost me production money, but I don't have to pay to get the audience because I'm making something so amazing that the public are going to share it. Well, why would you share it? What's in it for me to share some story that NBN... It's myopic and crazy.
So no matter what NBN does, It's an experiential brand, and people are going to give it a go, and if it's slow, they're going to slam it in all mediums possible until they get the tech right. It's not an advertising problem, it's a tech problem.
No, they have to do both. They've got to keep investing, obviously, in the build, and they absolutely have to be relentless around the communication. They're probably not spending enough.
Welcome back.
Back when Malcolm Turnbull was selling the Coalition's NBN, you couldn't shut him up about it.
Sooner, cheaper and more affordably.
Later, more expensive and more expensively. We looked at Malcolm Turnbull's statements in the press. He hasn't mentioned the NBN for 2 months. Todd, could he still spin this story?
I don't think he will spin it. If it's successful, he will use it, because government advertising, whichever way you cut it, is a form of controlled propaganda for the government. It's a message they can put out to control the message around them, right? So that's the one thing. And the other thing is Malcolm does not want this as an issue going into the election. So part of the reason we're seeing the work now and the speed that's going into it and all the energy and resources, he can't have this hanging over him. He's going to have enough hanging over him. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to spin it, but he will use it if he can get a lot of progress.
But in an advertising context, the government they've got no power over the ad budget of NBN. You know, the NBN is its own entity, and they make their own choices about what money they're going to spend
Although their agreement with the government was that they did have to advertise very heavily.
Well, of course they have to advertise. They've got to tell the public what's going on.
But,
right? But
Russell, like, believing that the government has no influence over NBN...
No, NBN is its own entity, yeah? And, yeah, it's not about... Oh, Malcolm doesn't ring up the CEO and say, hey, listen, what about spending another 50 mil? That's not going to be happening.
No, but, Russell, NBN is a political... is a political program. They will choose when and when not to use the advertising as it gets close to the election.
All right, OK, it's turned into Q&A. Let's move on. 2 years ago, the NBN did actually make one ad, which turned out to be weirdly prophetic.
Mom, Johnny caught internet.
Guys, can you get off the internet? Zoe needs to do her homework.
No, you get off.
It's not working. Eyeballs. Hey, Dad.
Brian.
If your internet slows down when everyone's online...
Oh, look at your face.
Then choose a high-speed plan over the NBN network that suits your needs. Contact a phone or internet provider.
Fun? And here 2 years ago. That ad is everything the NBN hasn't been. Christina, what would you do to turn around the Australian public?
Holy crap. Well, I probably wouldn't advertise a charmless future, and I really like what they did there. Like, I know it's sort of showcasing the problem, but it's the truth, and I love it. What about you guys?
Wow, you just pumped out a load of ideas there.
It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. We're only going to leave one in the show, and I'm going to sell the other two to NBN. Here on Gruen. Maybe things wouldn't be so bad for the NBN with a little more truth in advertising, which is why we've put together a new ad for them. Well, newish.
We're leaving our generation to join one that's moving us forward.
Where knowledge isn't limited by time or space.
And anyone can change the world from anywhere.
A new generation where it's easy to pass on our skills.
Where our crazy ideas become crazy reality.
It's time for a new generation. It's time for Gen NBN.
If hipsters are all about trends, then the latest advertising trend is hipster hate. Carlton Dry has been hipster bashing.
Meanwhile, at the Carlton Dry Under Think Tank.
You're looking at a drinks menu that's as long as the Nile, and that hipster bartender keeps giving you the stink eye.
ANZ is on the bashing bandwagon.
Well, let me pay.
It's on the side.
Oh.
And then there's the latest campaign from Hungry Jack's.
Bacon burger, kale smoothie, namaste.
Hello? Look at the plate in front of you. Are you seriously going to eat that?
You're not like them, are you, Patrick? You crave something more, something substantial. You need to keep it real now. Run. Run like the wind, be free. So close, yet so far. Run, busy little feet. Congratulations, Patrick. You made it.
Welcome to Hungry Jack's.
Can I get a bowl with bacon in it, thanks?
Hungry Jack's.
Patrick is such an independent thinker, he does whatever a random voice on the phone tells him to do. Brands used to tell us what to love. Now they're telling us who to hate. Russell, who is this ad aimed at?
People that do upside-down yoga, which I think is actually one of the great TV frames for the last 10 years. That shot, when he runs through the people that are hanging upside down on the rope and spinning around, completely crazy, absolutely love it. And the idea that it comes through the burger phone, so that's obviously the conscience, like, oh, come on, you don't need to do this, which, of course, we've all been in that situation. Oh, God, I love a burger, right? Why am I doing this stuff? It is... Right? This is really good advertising. And the other thing about it, just let's think this through. How many ads in Australia right now are funny? It's like, God almighty, thank God someone is putting some comedy on air.
Yeah. I actually agree with Russell on this. I really like this. And I like it for a number of reasons. I love the reverse psychology of it all because no one hates hipsters as much as hipsters. So hipsters don't self-identify as hipsters. So they would look at that ad and go, I'm not that guy, you know, and they would actually find it quite cool. And they don't have TVs. But I like it because it's sending up the whole thing. And when you have a target that's as easy as the hipsters and you're doing it in such jest, you're not really alienating or isolating that market. In a way, you're kind of jokingly celebrating them.
And also, I mean, this is an industry. I think there's this myth that it's sort of, you know, people aren't going to fast food, they're all eating healthy now. It's a $6.6 billion industry in Australia. There are 29,000 fast food outlets. So they've got a massive, massive target market out there.
Hipsters are so maligned, they're the new dumb dads and dickhead boyfriends of the advertising world. Christina, how do you decide as an industry on a hate group?
Oh, God. I think hate's a pretty strong word. I sort of more like to think that we just call BS where we need to call BS. And I sort of see it as more of a public and social service that we're doing. And usually what's happening...
Yeah. Oh, my God, everyone's turned into Russell!
Really, what they're trying to do is make fun of healthy people, but you can't. Because then you're literally admitting your food's not healthy. They're healthy. Ooh, aren't they silly? And we're not.
It's not so much... Hungry Jacks are competing in the fast food environment, and the people that they hate, in the competitive sense, are Maccas. We're not like Maccas because Maccas is increasingly turning into the clean cafe with the gourmet burger. So it's a very interesting, I think, competitive move.
It's not hate, it's targeting. And it's also, that's normally done by research. And the two, if you're going to isolate a group and put them out there and make fun of them, there's generally two. First, you don't want to create the hate. You just want to fuel it. It's someone else's great. And hipsters are perfect because there's a whole global movement. I felt really bad because the guy put my sound on, looked like a hipster. Yeah. I felt really, but anyway, park that. So that you don't want to, I know, I feel really, but anyway. And he's a hipster.
I don't think he's a hipster. He would have used the gramophone or something.
Russell's right. They're competing against themselves for their own sort of target market. People who eat junk food, 40% of them just go between two brands, and Macca's is first, then Subway, then KFC, then Hungry Jack's.
I'm excited about what's going to happen to the burger phone.
Yeah.
You'd have to think that burger phone's going to reappear.
Well, it's interesting that it rings at the end of the ad because he's still only halfway through his burger.
Right.
And what else are they going to say? Oh, you're at the wrong place. Go to McDonald's.
Right, well... There's a really, really strong campaign idea in that. I think we're going to see some great burger phone ads. Everyone, cross your fingers that this is working its arse off, because I want to see more of them.
The ad says there are no kale smoothies, but Hungry Jack's has served up brioche buns and pulled chicken and beef sliders. Just 6 weeks ago, it put a burger on a chopping board and called it Insta-worthy.
So deliciously Insta-worthy.
And the agency which made the ad we just showed refers to it as a launch film. OK, Scorsese. Todd, isn't this campaign just a slight bit hypocritical?
It's not hypocrisy, it's advertising.
You've got to play the Insta game. You know, in the food business, so I don't know, some ridiculous amount of, pictures of food are uploaded every day, 130,000 or something. So you actually, if you're in the food business, you sort of got to participate. So that's what those pictures are about.
Yeah, I reckon one person's version of hypocrisy is just Adlan's version of irony. And so I guess with Hungry Jack's using Instaporn, food Instaporn, it's just got a heavy dose of irony there, okay? Because it's sort of taking the piss out of the medium, but using it at the same time. So you're almost making two for the price of one. You can get away with it.
Hipsters are inner city middle-class people with disposable incomes. Russell, can any brand afford to piss them off?
I don't think they'll be pissed off. I think they'll enjoy it. They may not even see themselves in it. They'll just laugh along with, everyone else.
I mean, first, they don't watch TV, so they'll miss the ad. But even if they did, the best way to get a hipster to come to Hungry Jack's is tell them not to go to Hungry Jack's.
I like the keeping it real strategy. I've probably tried it about 1,000 times. I've seen it 1,000 times. And I think in Australia, because we have a hate of pretension, there's always something you can call BS on. And I think it's okay for HJs to do this. It's about an attitude. It isn't about everything being real. It's unapologetically a burger. Let the burger be a burger. And that's what I like about it, instead of how very unmackers and gourmet. It is just what it is.
Earlier in the year, KFC in the UK took a swipe at hipsters too.
I've got here this Scandinavian serving board. Now, usually with my serving boards, I like to get my Norwegian wood from Finland, but as long as it's from somewhere in Scandinavia, it should be fine. Cauliflower bun, raw baby kale, spiralised chicken, ice relish, unsweetened almond yoghurt, and to top it off, everyday, all-natural Guatemalan milled chia seeds. And voila, there you have it. The KFC clean...
Nothing satisfies like the dirty Louisiana. It's finger-licking good.
If the burgers don't kill you, we will. That's just about all for tonight. Please thank our panel, Russell, Dee, Christina and Todd. Every year on Gruen, we embark on a quest. This year, we're cracking open the vaults with a new segment called Ads You Couldn't Make in 2017. Wonder what that segment will be about. Yeah. We're going to go back in time and look at ads you shouldn't, wouldn't and hopefully couldn't make today. If you think Australia's progress is slow, this scenic trip through advertising's past might remind us of how far we've come. We'll kick off with an early 90s commercial from stocking brand Razzmatazz, a company that still exists today but is wise enough to sell itself with a lot less upskirting. We'll see you next week.
Bye.